Thank you everyone for tuning in to today's show of the Neil Coutts Show, and today I have a wonderful guest by the name of Garth Lategan. Garth Lategan was a real social icon of the Melbourne rave scene in the noughties. He's also an events manager, or he's in events management. But without further ado, Garth, tell me what's news in the world of Garth Lategan at the moment. What are you doing with yourself?
Wow, that's probably a very similar answer everyone's going to give. I'm staying home.
Staying home, yeah, I can imagine.
Isolating. I'm I'm being, following the directive of the government to stay home as much as possible, unless it's necessary to go out. So I'm fortunate that the job I have in events is teaching, and that's still currently happening.
Okay.
But other side of my event world has ceased. I've just stopped. I haven't bothered. I've decided not to do anything in 2020 now. Even if we do start allowing to come back, the type of events I like to run take time. So I've decided just to write 2020 off and just focus on my studies and focus on my teaching.
So nothing really planned in the works in the events world yet. Is that right?
No, nothing at all. Nothing for 2020. I did have quite a few things planned, but I just cancelled them all. The part of the events that I enjoy is actually taking my time to put them on. I like to rush in, and I think people are understanding of that because everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame. So tell me a bit about yourself, Garth. About your past, and were you born in Australia or overseas in South Africa?
No, I'm an international celebrity from South Africa.
Okay.
I was exported into South Africa, so I came to South Africa. I came over 6, so I was pretty young. I don't really have many memories of South Africa. Only the times that I've been back, back about 4 times. So I moved to Melbourne when I was 6 in Hawthorn. That's why I bagged the best football team in the world, Hawthorn. And that was one of the first games I actually got to see. But then I spent most of my childhood in Ringwood, where I went into Norwood High and Melbourne Primary out that way. To my mid-20s, my early 20s, and then then I travelled for about 4 years, which I think was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life when it comes to personal growth and development, and opened my eyes up to a different part of life. So that's definitely a big. And then I came back, and then I raved the rest of my life, and I'm still raving.
Well, that's it. That's what coming to next. How did you get into the rave scene, the Melbourne rave scene, Garth?
The Melbourne rave scene. Well, I got into raving in London first. I was a bit of a headbanger, and this guy used to work. He was our head chef at the restaurant I was working at, and I was a cook. And he'd always come in late, and he was always very tired, and I always used to give him grief for the stupid music he listened to, this unts music, unts. And I was into heavy metal, so I was going to see Iron Maiden, Brixton Academy and things like that. So that was, he challenged me and he said, well, how do you know if you've never been? And I said, very good point. And I am a very open-minded person in that sense. Yes, I shouldn't knock things unless I've tried it. So he took our whole house to a party behind a bus, and we went out to Ministry Sound. I don't know if you've heard of that club back in the day.
Yeah, I have.
And then I had the time of my life, and I went, oh my goodness, what is this world? And I continued to party for a little while, but nothing serious. And then when I came back home to Melbourne, I went to all-you-can-drink backpacker night.
Yep.
So I was still in travel mode, and all my friends had settled down and were quite boring, and they weren't wanting to do things. They just wanted to stay home on the weekend and do nothing. And I was like, no, let's go do something. So I think it was a Tuesday night, actually, midweek.
Oh, what?
Tuesday night? Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, it was Tuesday night. So I would stay at Backpackers in Melbourne, so I could hang out with backpackers because they were a bit more lively and they always wanted to do stuff. And then there was this all-you-could-drink beer night at Inflation's nightclub.
Yep.
And I decided to go, and obviously I drank quite a few beers, and the night was winding down, but downstairs, there was music coming from downstairs. It was very different. It's like, hey, this is the music I used to listen to in London. And so I'll go check it out, and I walked downstairs, and I went, oh,
yeah,
these people dress very strange. You know, in London they're very clubby, very dressed up sort of thing. Where this was a bit more underground, a bit more ferally, I suppose. A bit more people look like they made their own clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very weird, but the music was cool. And so I danced there for a bit of the night and thought that's cool. You know, didn't realise it had this sort of music. And then I left that, and I think and then I found a club in Ringwood called Juice Nightclub, which I used to go to, and with similar music, which I danced to. I went every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and I went there for about a solid a year and a bit. And then I was working in the city, and I went to a place called Bobby McGee's, and that was a bit cheesy sort of commercial music, and I didn't mind it. I just liked dancing. At the end of the day, it was more about dancing than the music for me. Anyway, I just liked going out and dancing. That was the whole focus for me. But at Bobby McGee's, people just didn't have that atmosphere. They were just kept to themselves, and when I tried to dance with someone or in their environment, the girls would think I was trying to sleaze them or something like that, and I just got fed up with the attitude that people would give me, so I got a bit upset. Yeah. I was wearing a suit. I left the club going, oh, that's really depressing. You can't just go and dance and have some fun, you know. And then I saw these people walking down Exhibition Street, and they were wearing those funny clothes that I saw in the club about a year ago. And I went, oh, where do you guys go listen to your music? And they told me, and I said, oh, down there, and turn left, and it's a place called Cage Nightclub.
Oh, right, yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, so I went down there, went up to level 2, and I walked out, and there was these pool tables, and I'm going, oh, pool tables? This is not the music, you know, and I could hear it. And then people doing karaoke, I'm thinking, did those guys just roll me or something? You know, sent me to a karaoke bar. And then I kept walking around the pool table, and I could hear this faint doof, doof, doof music in the background. Where's that music coming from? The guy goes, oh, upstairs. And I went, oh. So I got back in the lift, got upstairs, and the security guy goes, you sure? I'm in a suit, remember? So you sure you're in the right place? And I went, yeah, this is where I want to be. So they let me in because I think they charged like $10 or something. Because obviously didn't look the part. And I just stood at the end of the dance and went, oh my goodness, everyone was just going off tap. Everyone was dancing to this amazing music, and it happened to be Willie Tell at the time. And I remember seeing him at Chapel Street Rave. Yeah. I went, that's the guy that was at Chapel. He was just going off his head. And I went, that's the same guy. And so then I went to the toilet to freshen up, and one of the guys goes, maybe you should go home and get changed. And I went, yeah, I was feeling a bit overdressed, and I caught a taxi home. Came back in a pair of red shorts and a t-shirt, but I had a hoodie on it. Yeah. And then I did not stop going to that club. 6 months solid, just every weekend, just going to that club and just dance. And I remember being on the dance floor and going, I have found my home.
Oh wow!
Just that. It was just that moment. I still remember exactly where I was standing, and right at the time I said, oh my goodness, I found my tribe, found my home. I didn't even know anyone there. I just was at peace. I was just out in heaven at the same time.
Well, that is the beauty of the Melbourne rave scene. Everyone could be friends with each other. Yeah. You could make friends with random strangers and have a good night together. And you'd make life friends with them, because as you go on to different clubs, you'd actually see them again pop up in different places, and be able to sort of reminisce on the previous night. I remember I've had a few stories like that myself, and making friends, and when you see them 10 years later, you're like, oh, how's it going? And it's like you guys have been best friends forever type of thing. But Cage nightclub, it was an interesting nightclub. I've never been to a nightclub myself where you actually have to take the lift to get to the club. Most of the time at a club, you just walk straight through the door and you're in the place, and the night starts there. But yeah, I have to say it's an interesting club. Do you still have that hoodie that you first wore on that day?
No, I got a photo of me in that outfit. That's about it. I don't tend to keep sentimental items. I tend to let them go. I think it's an important part of letting go of good memories and bad memories. I don't think that I should hold on to them. If they stay around, bonus. But the time has been served, and the gift has been given. So I tend to just move those things on. And if I really want to keep a memento, I just take a photo of it.
Fair enough. So I'm sure you got a lot of photos of you would have made many memories over the time of yourself being actively involved in the rave scene, yeah?
Not me personally, but a lot of other people, because I started a memories group.
Okay.
My friend Luke, about a year ago now. and people just poured in them and stuff I'd never even seen. It was pretty cool. Yeah, and things are still coming out, a year later. Not as much, but definitely. So it's nice to see what the work of myself and my team had done, and the memories that it created for so many people. It was pretty cool.
So, do you have any other fond memories of the Melbourne rave scene?
Well, look, as you might hear, a very common thing, they all blur into one.
I can imagine, yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to say. So that question again?
So what are some of your most fondest memories of the rave scene besides
So I think just the rave scene itself was a fun memory. I mean, I'm a bit older, getting close to my 50s, so to me that was like a chapter, and if out of all the things I've done in my life, and I've been traveling for 4 years, I said that was one of the highlights, but raving was definitely the top. If someone said, which part of your life would you like to go back to, that's the part because that's when I felt the most alive, I felt the most connected, I felt the most whole, and I just felt I just felt like I was on top of the world. I just didn't have to prove anything to anyone. I could be myself, and there's nothing more liberating than that. So, yeah. So, any highlights? I mean, there was so many events. I mean, I remember coming back after every event for the first year. Oh my goodness, that was the best event ever. Oh my goodness, that was the best event ever. Every event after it was the best event ever. And then, if people stay, or like I stayed, I evolved in different parts of the event industry or the raving. It wasn't just a raver. At one point, you'd never get me off the dance floor. If you got me off the dance floor, I'd be really upset. And I went to a phase of touching the dance floor for a year. And then I started working, and so it became more about the process of putting on the event than the event itself. In fact, when I was working at Rainbow, I used to hate the event itself. I enjoyed putting it on and running it, but the actual event was to be really annoying, and I would just hide from everyone. So it changed,
So was it really stressful putting on an event?
Yeah, I think anything that's worth doing is stressful. I don't think it's just like anything. Not that I'm a candidate for this, but if you want to have a well-sculpted body and want to be Mr. Universe, well, there's a bit of stress in going to the gym every day and working out and eating the right meals and so forth. And if you want to put on an event and you want to do a good job and you want to be the best that you can be, then there's stress involved in that. And that's the key when it comes to, well, yes, there's going to be stress, but is it worth going through stress for the reward?
Yeah, I get that. So what made you decide to run your own event?
Purely by accident.
Really?
I never decided. As I said, I went to that Cage nightclub, and it was, by far one of my favourite times, and I just felt so free, and I met so many cool people. I didn't meet people at the beginning. I just kept to myself. I was actually known as Red Shorts Boy because that's all I used to wear, my red shorts and my white top. And I would wear the same outfit every week, no matter what, and I would just dance and dance. I just wouldn't talk to people. If people tried to talk to me, I was just too busy just dancing. So I just loved that club, and then I met a couple of girls named Corey and Tracy. Tracy ended up being my girlfriend, but we just had such fun memories of being in that club and the adventures afterwards and during and so forth. And Corey was having her 18th birthday, and she suggested that she'd have it at the Cage nightclub. Why don't we have it there? Because the club had closed by then. I was like, yeah, and we thought we'd contact Simon, the guy that did run that venue at the time, or that night at the time. And he showed me how I could book it, and then it just happened. It just gained a life of itself. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no clue about running an event. I had no experience, and so we did it like an 18th birthday where the parents would come. We'd have food all over the table, and the parents would come and they'd eat food and so forth. And then I think it was at 10 o'clock. Then the lights turned on and the techno music started, and we played a combination of well-known artists plus local DJs. So that's not how it really came about, but the thing that really came about was the fact the huge success of it. It was just unprecedented in its time. The Cage was packed, and I'd never done a party before, so it was not normal for someone to do their first party and be so successful in their first attempt. So that's how I got into it. And then I was doing my corporate accounting job, and I was looking at one and going, oh, look how much fun I had doing that, and look at my corporate. And I decided to quit and give events full-time. I think in December, I did it in October, the event, 99, and by December I quit my full-time job and decided to give running events a full-time go.
What were you doing in the corporate world?
I was working for Mobil Oil. So you know those petrol prices that you see?
Yep.
I was one that changed those prices.
What do you mean? So you would call up all the different petrol stations and tell them to adjust it at what price point, or?
Yeah. So I'd let the area managers know what the new the price is for the store, and then I would let them know. So I would work in that office. So anything to do with Mobil Oil retail, anything to do with them, maybe doing audits on their, making sure they're living up to Mobil standards. I was an assistant to the franchisee manager, so he had an area, and I would assist him in whatever. So I did lots of different things. That sort of come back from my accounting background, really.
Oh, wow. You missed that job?
Oh, it was fun. I got a nice car and a phone that I didn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it replaces what I've got now.
So, yeah,
but it did give me a good sense of business and understanding and how, because we used to help the franchises make sure they meet targets, and if they didn't meet targets, how can we make them, meet their targets? So it was good to see that end of it, and sort of taught me a lot from guys that were a lot more experienced than myself.
So basically, it gave you a bit of a background into business, and I guess basically helped you move forward when it came to running your rave events. Is that right?
A very different model, but yeah, I mean the key thing is when you run a business, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
Whether you enjoy it or not, you still have to make money just so you can survive to put on the next one, even. So in that sense, I had that business sense. I mean, not saying it always worked out that way, but that was definitely a goal, not to spend more than I make.
Yeah.
Which is a very hard thing in business for some reason.
You're not wrong there. It's easy to throw money away and hope for the best, and there's always no guarantees until in the case of running events, until that event takes place, you really don't know. Is that right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was very lucky. I suppose I had a bit more confidence because I was very successful straight away. So I knew my number, as they would say, which is I knew if I put on a party, no matter what, I'd get 500 people.
Okay. So
without any thrills or spills, So if I added to that, then I could probably get more.
Oh. So what came about, or how did you go about Smile Police, one of your biggest, I guess, brands? Where did that all start from?
Yeah, that's interesting, because Smile Police wasn't a brand. It was just back in the day, we had things called avatars. I don't know if you remember, and everyone used to have. No one used to use a real name on the internet, and so mine was Smile Police as such. That was my avatar. So it was just my raving name,
Yeah.
And that's what. But then came the outfits and so forth. But how the name came about was I was at a party called War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And I was dancing, and I just did not stop. I think I just stayed. I mean, I did move, but I just felt like I was just in this one spot all night. Yeah. And then the music stopped, and I was like, and I was really sad. And this person runs up to me and says, "Smile, please." But I thought they said "Smile, police."
Yeah.
And I thought, "Oh no, I'm busted. What's going on? What have I done?" And I'm like, "Oh no, like the undercover cop or something." And so I got a bit paranoid and freaking out. I go, "No, relax, man, relax." I said, "Smile, please." I said, "Oh," and then we laughed about it. And then a few parties afterwards, "Hey, Smile Policeman, hey, Smile Policeman," as a running joke. And then my flatmate asked me, why does he call you that? And then I told her the joke, and then she laughed. And she was a seamstress, and so she made me a Smile Police outfit.
Yeah, that outfit was pretty cool. I remember always seeing you at different events and always wearing the same outfit. And after a while, whenever I saw the outfit, you instantly think of you, basically. And you became a bit of a mascot in some way for your brand as well, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional. It was just, that was the beauty about the rave culture. It was, you could just dress up like you wanted to, and it was accepted, And if I'd walk down the street in that outfit, people would look at me funny, but and people loved it. And it was funny because also the colours were Superman colours as well. So it really did make me feel invincible, when I was in it. It was like I was putting on the superhero outfit. And Yeah, and I was just just really getting into part of the culture, but then I realised that the outfit actually had a lot more power than just me wearing it and having a bit of fun. It was actually making people feel safe. It was easy to be approached, and it brought a bit of joy to people's lives, just the fact that I was wearing it and I was at parties. And then once I realised that, then I was a bit more intentional with it, and also then people made me out. People would just bring me jumpers and say, "I made this for you." It was a smile, please, or a pair of shorts, or a bag, or some girl made me a full-on massive table in the shape of a star. I just had smile, please, everything. And so I found that really interesting, that because I embraced the outfit so much, then people just naturally gravitated in making me more of it.
Yeah.
So I sort of like that philosophy. If you're really, really in the flow of what you're doing, you tend to get more of what you're creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was so that's how it sort of came. And then of course, because that outfit became so popular and so recognised within the scene or dance music, when I put my party on, I'd already done all my marketing without realising, because, Garth's bringing a party. I know that guy. He's that Smile Please guy.
Yeah.
So I'd really done 2 years of marketing before I'd realised, and that's why, because I couldn't figure out why I was so successful the first event.
Yeah.
And then when I looked back and I tried analysing and that's what I was doing, and that's why my first event was successful. So when everyone comes, I want to do an event, and I said, okay, so how much marketing have you done? And they go, I haven't done it. Okay, well, you're going to struggle then.
So with the brand, have you ever thought about making merchandise, or have you made merchandise to go with it? Like, buy merchandise?
I tried to, but I got really weird about it, because at that time, that was me. It wasn't a brand still in my head. That was my outfit, Why would I want everyone else to be wearing my outfit? But people were, and there was a phase at some point, it wasn't very long, maybe 6 months, where there was so many people wearing red, blue and yellow, outfits. Whether it was coincidence or it was just an influence, or maybe people thought that was the colour you wore at rave, I don't know. But so I did find it a bit weird that, and then people said, I felt weird doing that. So I never really pursued it. I made outfits more based on the events than I did on Smile Please.
Well, I remember with a lot of your promotional material, the brand took a life of its own. You created other avatars like the star with the smiley face, and I think there was a few other characters along the way as well.
The star was actually the first part of the outfit, because I was at Mansion nightclub and I just started raving in the city. And it was a very aggressive crowd. They were they weren't smiling back, and I was like, a very intimidating crowd.
Yeah.
And I went downstairs, and there must have been a psytrance night down there, because there was lots of stars and everything. There was a paper star, which I still got somewhere. And I got that paper star, and I drew a smiley face on the star.
Yeah. And
I went around the club, and I actually had two hands, and I went around with them, and I started putting it in people's faces, and woo, like this. And I remember one of the security guys probably wouldn't advise doing that. And I still went and didn't listen to it. Yeah. And then I don't know if it was timing, or was it the stars, or was it just people warming up to the night. But the whole place, atmosphere just changed. And then people wanted to take the stars and play with it themselves. Yeah. And then I went back past that. The security goes, I don't know what you've done, but I'm glad you're alive.
Well, you've always brought the party to the party. That's the way I've seen it. Yeah. You've always been open there to talk to people, put a smile, give a hug. Not many people would allow other people to give them a hug, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I suppose I didn't know. I thought that was what you did.
Yeah, well...
I didn't know any different. I thought...
If I went up to a random stranger and I hadn't connected to him yet, they'd be like, who the hell are you? But you yourself, you are a character in its own, especially at these events. And you were just such an open person with a big heart that, like, how could you not? Like, I remember many times running up to you and giving you hugs. And you always had open arms with a big warm smile, and it's made you an unforgettable person in my eyes, to be honest. And I really appreciate developing the friendship with you. I know you've helped me out at times, getting DJ gigs and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll ever be so grateful for that. You know what I mean? I remember, you gave me the opportunity to DJ at a Hard Candy night upstairs when I think it was Paul Glasby was DJing.
Yeah.
And somehow I managed to have the same time slot as him, but I managed to keep the room full throughout the night, and I was actually wearing a ninja suit. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
And it wasn't long after that other people started wearing masks while DJing, and I was like, what the hell? But I thought it was a really cool thing, to be honest, and I wish I could do it again sometime, but like I say, times have changed, and that was just another chapter in my life. But yeah, that was a great night. What I believe, or what I think, I really enjoyed it.
No, I really enjoy it. I suppose I always enjoy the opportunity of sharing what I have with people. I'm not a DJ myself, but when I get something, I can't keep it to myself. I want to share it with others, and I think that's, I suppose people like yourself got the benefit from that. If you knew me at the time, in the right place, right time, and I just happened to have access to that event or whatever, and people were around, I gave people the opportunity. They didn't have to prove themselves. They just had to be willing to step up on the stage and do it, whether that's Dayful or DJ or whatever. Sometimes it's a bit of a downfall for me because people didn't like the idea. I was just giving a random person a go that hadn't got any credibility, but I felt that if I gave them an opportunity, then maybe they will get credibility.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I wish I could have continued on DJing, but I never. And no matter how much I tried, I always felt it was like it was who you know, not how good you are. And I guess at some point, correct me if I'm wrong, it was also the following as a DJ, which would decide whether you'd get more gigs. You know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. I think it depends where you're pitching yourself, but if you're pitching yourself in the local community, it's about your following. I mean, you've got to understand the promoter has to make money, otherwise they don't survive. And if I'm putting you on, you don't attract people, why am I putting you on? And so, that's always that tough balance between trying to give people a go. I was lucky in my situation because I could afford to give people a go because it wasn't about the DJs for my following.
Yeah.
It was about the atmosphere that we created at the events, which is very different to a lot of parties which are about the music, which is fine. But mine was more about the community and the people involved and the atmosphere that was created. That's why people came to the events. Most people didn't even know that's because I never played internationals at my big events. It was all local DJs, and still at that time was attracting the same amount of numbers.
Well, that's what I really enjoyed about your parties is that you were playing local DJs, even though I did like to watch international DJs play, but it made me feel that it was like it wasn't such a commercial event, but it was more a party for the people, where we could all just get together and have a good time, which is what I'd love to see more of, but it's not quite like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not like that. That's why I sort of stopped going out. It wasn't because, but, we did the Reconnect party last year, and that really, it's amazing if you think, I know myself and other people, the rave scene's dead, or that atmosphere, or that vibe, or whatever's gone, but, the Melbourne community showed that it's not gone. It's just you have to create the right environment for them, and they'll feel safe, and they feel comfortable being who they want to be, and then that vibe comes, and so I've just been blessed the fact that I know the formula, and I'd like to pass that formula on, but I don't know if people are willing to take it. I don't know if it's too much responsibility, or it's too hard, or what it might be, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if that, how can I say, that era, or we could have that again in Melbourne, like we had in the noughties, that atmosphere, people wanting to go out every night, every Friday night to have a good time, or on a Saturday, and, once every now and then there'd always be a big event on, and everyone would be at the top of the list for everyone to attend type of thing. But I think money plays a big role in it, and the willingness of people to come out and participate, and bring that event alive, because like you said before, it's all about the money, really. If there's no money to be made, the promoter or the event organizer is not going to create an event, which is the sad bit, because you know, it would be awesome to be able to relive those memories. And I wish I had come to your party last year. I would have really enjoyed it, but unfortunately, last year was my hardest year having a daughter, so it took a lot of time out. But I'm waiting for her to grow up a bit so I could take her to. They have these family rave events. Have you seen them?
No, Big Fish, Little Shit. I went to it.
Yeah. Did you go to it?
Yeah, I went to it.
And what was it like?
Yeah, it was nice, and I think it's for those people that are in that culture and love that music, especially the parents that are stuck at home.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for them to go listen to the music they like, catch up with old friends, and then I got to meet a lot of my friends' children, which I never had the opportunity of as well. So that was quite cool. It's not a rave, not even close, but it's more a social night out with your kids that just happens to listen to the music. So. And that's enough for some people. You know, they've left that brave world, but it's nice to just catch up with people that you know affected their lives, and they could just catch up socially and just have a bit of a boogie at the same time.
Are you involved in that event?
I was involved in the sense I helped promote it, but I was more of an exchange. I worked for my ticket. Like, you remember you booked for many tickets in your life?
Yeah, I remember how to get free tickets.
Yeah, did some promotion for them in exchange for some tickets, so that's about as much as I was involved. But I mean, the reason I was going there was to learn about that type of party, and if I was interested in doing it myself, because a lot of my friends are that age with kids. But like, coming back to your point about will our scene ever come back? I mean, that's my hope, but not the way it used to be. Obviously, we're all older. And so we can't have it like that. We've moved on. We're all a bit more responsible, just like yourself. You couldn't come last year because you had kids. But, you know, trying to share the load, maybe I do 1 or 2 events a year, but I'd really like to empower others to be able to run their own events. And make it small scale. I know Jade wants to do the Happy Hardcore. So, okay, let's be realistic. Maybe 100, 150 people will turn up. But let's make it good, you know? And then there's not as much worry about making or losing money, you know? Okay, I've got a budget, this is as much I want to lose, or I don't want to lose, okay, this is what we've got to do. And then making it happen. And so we just have all these little satellite events, whether it's based on the genre, or whether it's the people, or it's about decor, because the scene was made up of many things, not just good atmosphere, it was also about the type of music, or the international. And then if you have a spread of that over the year, not every weekend maybe, but a good spread, it'll keep people entertained and having options to go out and recapturing a little bit of what we used to have.
So what things do people need to take into consideration when creating their own events or running their own parties?
Well, the first thing I ask them is, how much money are you prepared to lose? They go, I'm not. Well, okay, don't bother putting it on for your first time then. If you are going to put on something, because it's just, the reality is it's very hard to make money from your first event. And I'm not saying it's the rule, but it's just that really tests people, because they've got this idea. First, I just want to break down the misconception that there's money to be made. There really is, but it takes time. And so then I can sort of identify where they're at. Oh, I don't want to make money. If you want to make money, this is what you have to do. And I don't know. You know, I had that conversation with them. The next question I ask them is, if it's, how old are you now, Neil?
37.
Okay. How many people will come to your 40th if it's free? If you put on a 40th birthday?
I don't know, maybe just 40 people.
40 people?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have a little bit of a party, okay? So we want to get to about 150, okay?
Yeah.
So we can work with 40 people, because if 40 people want to come to your birthday, I reckon we could get 150. We triple it, basically, to come to your first event. But you have to work it, you know. We might have to turn it into your birthday, and then you put on DJs and all sorts of stuff, and that attracts other people, get lots of people involved. So that way you can build a community around that event. It's not just about you, it's about all the DJs and the artists and the decor artists and the promoters and the venue and all sorts of stuff. Getting the right people involved that will attract other people. Now I talk about the DJs have to attract people. So you're doing all that to attract people and get people involved, and then hopefully you get your 150 people and they pay $20 each. So that's which is that $3,000, and hopefully you spent $2,500. You got $500 to put in your pocket. You know.
That would be nice.
It's a simple formula, but getting those from 40 to 150 is the hardest bit. and that's where most events fall over. Great ideas, great concept, great DJ lineup, great venue, but can you convert those 40 people that are going to come to your 40th birthday to 150? And that's where people fall short most of the time.
Is like marketing your event, is it easy or is it hard?
It's time consuming.
Okay, what sort of things would you need to do?
So the thing for my events, it's very different. I can't just put up a poster and say come.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to create a certain type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that atmosphere is connection and happy to see each other. You know, there's a trust that goes with that. You know, and then the more we trust each other, the happier we feel, and the better the chemicals that get released in our body, like serotonin and oxytocin and so forth. So my job while I'm running the event is to build a massive team, and that takes time because it could be a one-on-one chat just like we're doing now. It could be going to other events all over the place and catching up and meeting with people and talking to them, seeing where they're at, what would they like to see at the event, getting them involved in the event in some way, even if it's just in their opinion, or who DJ they'd like to see. And that takes 6 months. That's why I said I wouldn't put a party on this year, because I don't have that opportunity to do that. Yeah. And so it's really gathering that momentum, especially if you're going to attract a party of 1,000 to 1,500. It's really attract, because I don't want to put on a party with people. I want to put on a party with 1,000 people that feel they've contributed in some way, every single person, you know? Yeah. Or if they haven't contributed directly, they've brought a friend that they knew would love this type of party, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what takes time. Whereas I could print a poster and put it on Facebook and pay for ads, but I'm not going to get the vibe that I'm searching for, and that takes time. And that's just basically people skills and being interested in what people have to say and listening to their contribution and seeing if I can make it happen within the event. Because it's not I don't see it as my event. Yeah. I'm not trying to educate people in that sense. It's, hey, I've got this wonderful platform to play with. Who wants in? So that's why I always open my events up to anyone that wants to help.
So you teach event management. Is this some of the stuff you actually teach in your course?
I'd love to.
Yeah. But
it's so unconventional and so left field that people look at me strange and go, huh? What are you talking about? You know? Yeah. But it's just one way of doing events.
Yeah.
I call it the community model. I don't know if it's actually a term, but it's where I get the community involved in the event as opposed to, hey, here's an event, would you like to come?
I get you, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a structure, and those events work too. I'm not saying they don't, but it's hard to teach because it happens organically.
Yeah.
There's no textbook and say this is how it goes. There's a process maybe. I suppose it's a holistic way of putting an event. There's no step-by-step thing, you know. It's more a philosophy, and then you adapt it. So. But then, on the other hand, being a teacher and learning the other way and having all the systems and processes, it's also made me it's made me refine my process a bit better. So I think the two worlds working together works well. But officially, where I have been able to do that is also work at a festival called World Vegan Day, which is not even rave, and that's where I tried the philosophy, and then the numbers grew for the event massively once I started doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I get my students involved in that way, and I just throw them in the deep end. I say, there's your area, go for it. Just like I used to do with DJing. There's your deck, go for it.
That's pretty cool. So I remember you talking once about a philosophy. What was it? Attack the Five Senses. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me a bit about it?
Yeah, well, it's I thought it was just my own unique philosophy until I started studying and I realised it actually exists in the event industry full stop.
Oh, wow.
Basically, we have 5 senses,
yeah.
And if you can capture all of them, then the person's going to have a great experience. Capture 2 or 3, yes, still, but so really capturing everything. And the 5th sense, obviously, to me, is more about passing on knowledge without them realising they're passing on knowledge. You know, so I just learned something about myself at this party. How cool is that? You know, because I don't know if you remember, I used to put signs around my event. You know, you are a beautiful starting star. Don't forget it. Little things like that, depending on the theme of the event. And so So we've got, what are the four senses? We've got touch.
Yeah.
So that's the easy one at raves because everyone hugs. So that's a no-brainer. We've got smell. So I always used to burn incense constantly and have oils burning and so forth. And try with our smoke machines to have nice smells in there. Well, we had sound. That was always a given at raves. But I used to always start the night off with food. Just have lots of food, and we used to hand out food all night. So that's that taste and so forth.
Yeah.
And then I always would have an element of education through the whole event, whatever the theme might be. So this time it was reconnect in the last one. So what does reconnect mean to people? And there was just different signs about reconnecting with yourself or reconnecting with a friend or reconnecting with a loved one. And then there was jokes in there as well, so people would laugh. So because I always found the best way I learned was through laughter and fun. And so I thought, well, I have this wonderful gift of people coming to my events. I just don't want them to come there and party. I want them to pass on some knowledge, something that will take away and remember that event. And that's why I used to say, it's not about the event, it's what happens after as well. So hopefully people take a little bit away with them and maybe they incorporate it in their lives and hopefully they can have a bit more of a peaceful life.
I remember after one of your events, you had a colouring book you were giving out that everyone could take home and do in their spare time. I really enjoyed that. What gave you the idea to do that, actually?
I don't know where it came about, to be honest. Again, that's that philosophy of allowing other people to be creative in the space that you're providing. And people coming up with ideas. It might have been the graphic designer saying, oh, we should have a colouring book. I was always that type of person. If it was financially possible, I would say yes. Let's do a colouring book. Yeah, let's do it. Make it happen.
Still got it?
Huh?
You still got the colouring book?
I don't have it personally. I don't hold on to anything, but I know people that have it.
Oh, wow.
And they were sharing the memories. But again, it's that philosophy. People come up with an idea. I try and empower them to actually make it happen. Oh, cool. Great idea. How do we make it happen? Oh, I don't know. I said, well, you need a graphic designer. We need this. We need that. Can you organise it for me? And then they'd go off and they'd make the colouring book. Or they'd speak to the graphic designer to add a page in the book or whatever it might be. And then, so that was that type of thing I really loved doing. When I didn't try and shoot down many ideas unless it was financially or was impractical or was dangerous or something like that. But if someone come up with a silly idea they thought was silly, no, let's do it. And then they'd come to life, and then you'd see their faces like it'd come to life at an event, and they'd just be like, I can't believe this is real. And I think, well, that's the beauty of putting your ideas forward. If someone believes in it, then they'll run with it and make it manifest into the real world. So.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty cool book. I'll never forget the Spot the Difference page. It made me laugh when I saw it, and that book went down. It's a legendary book. I remember it being. Yeah, I'd love to revisit it if get your hands on a copy or get someone to put it up online. I'd love to have a look.
Yeah, I think they put it up online in the memories page.
All right. Well, I'll have to look out for it.
Just ask for it. Say, hey, can anyone remember that Energy 7 book?
Yeah.
People will probably share it with you.
So. Are you able to tell me what events did you run? I know you ran a whole series of them, including the energy events. There were some other ones, wasn't there?
Well, it's interesting. That was the thing. I didn't run that many events.
Oh.
A lot of people thought I ran up most of the events in Melbourne because I used to get thanked so much for running the event. I go, I didn't run it, So, and that was the bizarre thing because I wasn't the type of person that wanted to do it all by myself. I wanted to share what I had. And so it was a combination of sometimes organisers asking me to run an area, and then my logo would be on the flyer. And it sort of became this thing that if my logo wasn't the flyer, it was mine. And so people would thank me. And so I would just say thank you because obviously I had a part in it. But when everyone's thanking you, you don't have the time to say, no, it's not mine, sorry. You just accept the thanks and you move on. So, and because I was really active and being part of so many, people really thought I was running them all. So the Energy series was definitely my baby. But again, a lot of people helped me in the background and people from all the worlds, And then I had the Happy Hardcore events and Atmosphere at the club. Again, I shared that with someone else. But in my involvement with Hard Candy, you know, I just started as a promoter and just helped the guys, and still helping them out today, sort of thing. So I was more a helper than a organizer, really. It was really Rainbow Serpent. Even then, I was just doing one small role within a big event.
That's really become that's become a pretty big event now, Rainbow Serpent, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's internationally it's quite recognised, and it's done well. It's stood the test of time, and it's outlasted everything that's been thrown at it, and it's still going.
Yeah, because I remember it started back maybe 15 years ago, maybe.
More than 98 it started.
Oh wow, even longer. And it was your housemate that was running it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose we started to live together because we were doing the same thing and we were working on the same parties, and just was a natural fit.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty surprised it's still going. Because you know, we also had ones like Earthcore, but I really don't see that much of it around these days.
Well, unfortunately, Spiro passed away, the guy that ran it, so that's why you don't see it anymore.
Yeah, no, because I remember going to a volcanic crater. It was a pretty interesting place. I didn't think that we had volcanic craters in Australia, let alone in Victoria.
Oh, it's extinct. It used to be one.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They don't want to mislead your viewers and think we were actually partying in a crater. There's molten lava flowing out.
Yeah, no, it's probably good that it wasn't active. Never know.
That's all part of it like that. You might as well have been on a volcanic crater.
Yeah. No, that was a pretty cool night. So, besides your 5 senses, what are some of your philosophies for running a successful event?
I think most knowing your audience, really knowing your audience, knowing what they're really into, understanding that, and just being clear about why you're putting on an event. Is it just to play music? Cool. What are you actually trying to achieve? Is it a celebration? It's got to be really clear on those things. Knowing why you're doing it, and knowing who your audience is. Because it's as simple as if you don't know your audience and you choose the wrong club, you lose half your audience. So. Yeah. So I think they're everything else around there can be built on, because you've got to get numbers in, otherwise you don't have a party.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to have 1,000, 10,000. If 50 people is your number, then that's cool. That's the party. Yeah. But you just have to be realistic with where you're at, and if that's what your number is, that's what your number is. That's what you've got to work with.
And are there any challenges to running an event? Did you ever come across many obstacles?
Waking up in the morning is always a challenge.
Yeah, why is that?
It's just waking up. I just don't like waking up. And that's my biggest challenge. Once I'm up, that's it. You can't stop me.
Yeah.
The challenge of finance, balancing that, the challenge of people. You tend not to be an event manager when you get bigger. You tend to be a psychologist and helping your team work through their problems so they can work on the event. So you sort of adapt different skills. You actually don't become an event manager. The challenges of when we were earlier, we were a bit more of an underground scene, so the cops made our life harder. And they're still making it harder. Not just the cops, I'm saying, the authorities. Well, let's say the regulations. Let's say the regulations.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just the cops enforce it, so we get a bit grumpy with them. But, that just make it harder, but that's, again, why I put on the safety officer hat, so I can help the organisers with the regulation side of things and prepare safety plans for them if they need. So we can just keep having festivals, because the regulations keep getting tougher and tougher. So,
I felt like the demise of the Melbourne rave scene was due to the GHB drug, and I get that. There's a lot of people were dropping just out of nowhere, and it really disappointed me that in some way, it's all about for some people it was the fact of substance abuse or taking drugs, where for me, myself, it was about the music, especially being a DJ, and just going to a party and being able to party. So I could understand, the authorities, because we had, what was it? Coral Castle was a good party. Did you go to that?
No, I didn't go to the last one. I went to the other last ones, but except for that last one.
Yeah, I was like, it was a really good night, but put a lot of strain on the local hospital services, and I just wish people would have respected that rather than taking these illicit drugs, because we probably would still have a rave party in a medieval castle, which we don't
Yeah.
have anymore. Um, so, but coming back to the obstacles, it's just a matter, once your parties start growing, your events, it's all about managing your people, is it?
Well, I mean, it's about managing everything, and there's constant obstacles. I mean, life's an obstacle in its own. Getting out of bed's an obstacle for me. But the idea, I mean, that's just a metaphor for life, really. Anyway, you set your goals on something, your sights on something, and don't expect it to be a clear path to it. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's the one that can be that can take the hits and the bumps and the knocks and be creative with their solutions of how to get around that, are the ones that get to the finish line, and as a net manager you have to have that. There is no clear path to your goal, and you're gonna get knocked off here and there and be challenged, and you don't know what they are, but all you're saying to yourself is, I've set that goal so far away, it's in 6 months, I now have to solve all the problems so I can achieve that. Am I prepared to solve those problems? No? Yes, let's do it, and that doesn't matter what you're doing. It's like your radio station.
Yeah.
You're going to go, I don't know how many, you had 2 or 3 interviews?
You're my second one at the moment.
Second one, yeah. So you've had this vision, but you've already had obstacles in your way, whether it be technical, timing or whatever, confidence, whatever. You've all had different obstacles. And then now you're going to, after maybe 4 or 5, you'll smooth them out. And then what you're going to do for yourself, you're going to have a new goal.
Yeah.
And maybe you're gonna approach different speakers, from different areas.
Yeah.
And so there's always obstacles. And if you're going through any event and you think there's not going to be obstacles, then you're in the wrong industry. Well, you might as well just give them life as well, because there's obstacles in everything you do.
Well, I always think it's always, no matter how many times you get knocked down, it's about getting back up.
Yeah, it's that resilience.
Because I don't ever think nothing good comes easy in life. Everything's a challenge, but the hard work always pays off as long as you keep pushing.
Yeah, that's that persistence thing. And yes, I think it's made. I mean, they say it's hard, but it's also easy, because if you're really into it, the hard work just becomes fun. It's not work; it's play. Yeah. And once you see our job as play, it's just like if you go play in a playground. Yeah. And you're on a seesaw, and you fall off the seesaw, you hurt yourself a little, but you get back up on the seesaw. Yeah. It wasn't the seesaw's fault. You don't have to blame the seesaw or anything like that. It was just you slipped off, or you didn't hold on properly, and then you get back on the seesaw. So if we see our work as play, and yes, we had a bit of a mishap, but we still get back on the seesaw, and we start using it. We might be a bit more careful when we get back on the seesaw and hold on a bit tighter. So if we can see our work as play, then it's very different. When people say, "Oh, you're going to work," I say, "No, I'm actually going to go play with my students. We've got this activity, we've got this to do today, we've got this to do today, I get to do this." And so it changes it from a job to something I get to do.
So is this how you approach life with everything you do?
I try to my best, just trying to see it as in I get to play, and who am I playing with today, Yeah, not all the play is fun. I'm not saying it's about fun, but if I just have a different mindset towards it, it just eases my frustration and stress, really. When I'm approaching these sort of things.
What's it like teaching event management?
It's very rewarding. Because I didn't realise how much I'd learnt over those 15, 16 years of running events, and I'm still learning because I'm still running events. Yeah. It's brought me so much joy, and I know that because it's brought me so much joy, I brought so much joy to other people. And I just hope that I can inspire other people to do the same. And if we're all just bringing joy to each other, the world would be a very different place. So that's my bigger mission, I suppose, is that I'm trying to encourage people to be the best version they can, and whatever they do, and every step they take, try and bring joy to their lives and the people around them. And then hopefully the world will benefit from that.
So how did you get involved in it? Like, what possessed you to go, all right, I want to start teaching event management, considering you'd been doing it for about 15 years, running your own event? Like, did someone come and approach you, or were you just wake up one morning and go, I want to teach? How did that all happen?
No, I was doing I was being a guest lecturer at William Angliss. They were running a special course called DME. I can't remember the exact name of it. But St. Luke, he was a student at one of these courses. Yeah. Not that I met him there, but he just happened to be. I just know it was a couple of people. A guy by the name of Peter Lotus ran it, and he just invited me to be a guest speaker, and I did it a couple of times. And I really enjoyed it. Like I was surprised how much I had to offer, to the student, because they asked me questions and I had the answer. I was like, oh, that wasn't too hard. I was a bit intimidated because I was going to be public speaking basically, but we had a casual chat and sat around the table and people just asked me questions. So it was, so I just got a taste of it. And Peter said, oh, you should teach. And I dismissed it. I thought, nah. And then I was a bit frustrated with Rainbow and all my little worlds, and I'd realised that I wasn't an event manager. I was really just teaching people to do their job. Yeah. Then I got this opportunity to do a teacher training course through the government. They were offering free courses, and I went, cool, I'll do that. Yeah. And then in that course, I heard that, well, if I do this course, I could actually teach event management at a school. Yeah. And I went, oh, cool. And then before that, and then while I was doing the course, Swinburne University contacted me, said, hey, we're offering free advanced diplomas, RPL, if you want to be your event manager. I said, oh, that's coincidental, I'll do that too. Yeah. And I can teach, but I didn't have any intention of teaching. It was only, I did go away at Lawn after Rainbow and said that I want to be a teacher and planted the seed that I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah. I didn't follow it up until, and things just unfolded. It was like I put it out there, but wasn't really 100% serious to start, because it was just like that wonderful idea you have and you get all enthusiastic and you go tell it to everyone and they go, oh, really? Yeah, I get that. That's nice, dear. But then I think my, what went to happen, because all these events started unlocking and unfolding, and then I did my course, got qualified. I contacted Peter at Lotus, and I said, and I thought maybe I'll just do one day, maybe I'll just try it out, Yeah. And I'm still doing events. What's the matter? Yeah. And then I kind of said, hey, yeah, I'm thinking of moving on, and maybe you should come down and have a chat with the lady or the subject course coordinator. Yeah. And I went, yes. I came down, very casual, and had a chat, and then they said, okay, and they walked upstairs to the third level. They go, okay, this is where you'll be sitting. And I'm like, did I just get a job? I didn't think I'd be getting the offer that straight away, and then they asked me for all my qualifications, and I said, which ones do you want me to send? And because I had an accounting qualification, they go, oh, do you do accounting? And I said, yes. Our accounts person or the accounting person has left. Would you like to do one of their shifts? And in all my wisdom, I'm going in my head, no way, not going to do it. No, what do you create? I'm leaving. I'm getting out of my bookkeeping career because I do not want to touch it. I just hate it with a passion. And then I just said, yes, okay, I'll do it. Because I was just saying, just saying yes to anything, because I thought, wow, I've got the opportunity, I'm going to do it. But in my head, I was just like, nah, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. And so that was it. That's how I started. And I did 2 different courses. I did the one that I was supposed to be signed up for, and then I did the finance. And the one I signed up for was torturous. I did not like it at all. I thought, if that was my teaching career, no way am I doing it. Too hard. The students ripped me apart and just complaining. And not necessarily my fault, but again, feeling new, I felt some ownership of me contributing to the disaster. But on the other hand, when I was teaching finance, mate, best time of my life. Not best time of my life, but I just had so much fun. It was just like, such a contrast between the other group and my finance group. I mean, hey, I like this. You
teaching events management and finance?
Finance within event management.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I don't know if you, in the background, but while I was doing events, I was doing the bookkeeping for all the event.
Oh, wow.
As well. So I had that finance background at Mobile, remember? So it's always been there with me.
Oh, so because I noticed at one point in time you were doing a Smile Police Accounting or something. Was that a gig you were doing as well?
Yeah, so once I sort of dropped out of the rave scene a bit in about 2008, I still focused on Rainbow, but I stopped personally doing events. And I just focused on Rainbow, but then I did bookkeeping and I did accounting and I did IT support. Those were the three skills that I was good at. And so I thought I'd start my business like that. So it didn't matter what I did. I did some bookkeeping. Sometimes I ran events. Sometimes I did IT support, and that was just my thing I did. I never really formulated it as such. That's the sort of where I pitched myself.
Okay. So have you ever thought about running another night, like just a Friday night or a Saturday night?
Yes and no. I think my energy is different now. I've been, as I said, been teaching for 8 years. I got made full-time last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. 7 years of hard work. But again, not hard work because I enjoyed it. It was fun. But just 7 years of... I had to become a different person. Yeah? I was raving and we lived all sorts of crazy hours. That was my full-time job. And so I know how to conform to this structure of turning up to work on time and speaking professionally and dressing appropriately and all this sort of stuff. And that was really challenging. Really, I was disassociated with normal life. I was so embedded in raving that it was foreign to me to have all these rules and regulations and a start time and a finish time of work. That sort of stuff. Just was, and it took me 7 years, I reckon, to fully get back into the groove of society and accept it for what it is, instead of bagging it and putting it down and making it wrong and saying, hey, look, that does serve a purpose and this is where I fit into the world and this part of the world. And then I got made full time and that was cool. And then ever since that, I was like, okay, well, I'm always a person of when people give me opportunity, like, I give other people, I put myself back into study now to be a better teacher, So I'm studying to further my teaching understanding.
Was it a challenge reintegrating into society, doing the whole 9 to 5, and rather than before where you were just living your own lifestyle as you wish?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I still miss it. I still quite. I was lucky because my first teaching was just 1 day a week, and then it gradually went to 2 days to 3 days. So I slowly went in there. Yeah. And then when I really felt it when I went from 4 days to 5 days. And even then, as a teacher, we don't work 40 hours a week. We teach, and then we do our work wherever. So I was really half integrating compared to what most people do. Even that was a struggle. But when I went 5 days, I went, oh, that is painful. I can see myself not enjoying this whole 5-day experience.
Yeah, I get that.
But again, I only have to really turn up for the hours that I teach, and I can do my other hours in different time slots. I don't have to necessarily do it at 9 to 5. So I don't know if I could actually transition from 9 to 5, because I think that would do my head in. So I've got a bit of flexibility. But yeah, that was a massive challenge, and I can see why it's hard for people to integrate after being raving for so long back to, I call it civilian life. But I'm more accepting of civilian life than I was back then, because I was a bit anti-civilian life.
Yeah, I get that. So it's good to see, like, you still got some freedoms there, you're not, stuck in 9 to 5. You can do your marking and whatever the other stuff that's to do with your schoolwork and your own personal time. But still, you're still doing the normal thing of having a job and, working, basically, teaching people and sharing knowledge, I guess, is the real beautiful thing about it. And what you're doing right now is you're still able to connect with people like you did back then. Yeah.
And that's why teaching became that thing, because that's what I came to was when I was at teaching, because that's exactly what I was doing. When I was raving, really, I wasn't really an event organizer. I never really saw myself as an event organizer. I saw myself as the raver putting on parties for his mates, and it just got a bit serious because big money was starting to get involved.
Scary, huh?
Yeah, and it was only when I really looked at it, I said, what I actually really do is I teach people. That's what I do. And so when I told people that I was becoming a teacher and I'm studying, they go, oh, yeah, you'll be good at that. Without hesitation. There was no flinch from people. It was just, oh, yeah, you'll be good at that. And it's like, it was so reconfirming that I thought I was down the right path. Because normally when I say people, I'm doing that, really, you're doing that? It was like a natural plug. And I didn't see that in myself until later that that's what I was doing. You know?
Well, you've always been a knowledgeable person and always been willing to share information and just provide a little bit of guidance to everyone around you in regards to what they were wanting to do. You know, I know for me, as a DJ, you would give me advice on what to do next after every other gig that I did. You you tell me get online, start getting involved with the community and stuff like that, and I really appreciate that. And you've always been a person to share knowledge, I guess. But what are some of your tips for people who want to get involved in event management or running their own parties and stuff like that?
Give me a call.
Sorry? Give you a call? Come sign up for your course, yeah?
No. My first hour consultation is free. It's funny you say that because I even after 8 years, I still struggle that I get paid to do what I do. I remember the first couple of years, I used to always forget to put my timesheet in. And my manager was, "Where's your timesheet?" I go, "Oh, because I just didn't register that I actually get paid for this." It just took me a while. I mean, I like getting paid for it, don't get me wrong, but it was just this disconnect in my head. Tips is, the question is, are you ready for the challenges?
Yeah.
Are you ready to solve these type of problems? Is this the sort of problems that you want to solve in the world? Yeah. And then, are you prepared? What sort of money are you prepared to lose?
Mm.
And how many people do you think you can attract to your first event?
Is there anything people can do just to get a taste of it before diving in head first?
100%. Yeah. There's so many non-profits out there that need people. There's so much work in the event industry. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not paid. That's the downside, because events is a very glamorous industry in the sense that the more entertaining it is, the harder it is to get work in there. So if you want to work at the rock and roll concerts, people will work there for nothing, and volunteer and do what they have to do to get a ticket. Yeah. So it makes it very hard for someone to get a job there. So it's a very small team that manages it. But on the other side, you've got all the non-profit events that are trying to raise funds and money and charity drives and all sorts of things that are screaming out for event managers because they can't afford to pay them necessarily, but they need them because they need to raise money and bring awareness to their cause. And so I always steer people in that direction.
Okay, yeah.
And say, hey, look, start there and get filled, because you got to understand the people that actually work for not-for-profits and support are also quite wealthy in their sense because they're entrepreneurs and they donate to the cause. So then you can meet people of influence at these things, and then that might set your career, and then you can meet the right people to take you to the next spot.
Yeah.
Or if you want to work on a particular event, then find the company that does it and you hound them. Work for nothing, do what you need to do, get in the door and just start going for it. And that's how you have to do it to get into those industries. But it takes time and it takes patience, and you have to really be okay with getting rejected constantly until they open the door for you.
Okay. That's pretty much for today. So I had to ask you, and I do appreciate for you making the time to speak with me. If anyone wanted to get in contact with you, do you have any social contacts or anything like that? You're on Facebook or Twitter?
Yes, I am on all of them. Majority on Facebook, but my email is the best. It's Garth at 10ten.training. That's it. Just keep it simple.
Yep.
Garth at 10.training, TEN that is. And people can email me. I generally answer my emails within 3 days. If I haven't, try again.
Yep.
Facebook, I'm not as good on Facebook because I lose track of if I've said hello to people or not. Because Facebook's a terrible platform for keeping track of conversations. Other than that, I'm around in Melbourne, isolated at the moment, but looking forward to getting out as soon as I can.
You'll have a bunch of events coming up in 2021?
Hopefully. I definitely want to do my reunion party again. I was going to do it this year, but I'm thinking maybe 2 years is a good time to have a break from each time instead of a year. and maybe train other people up to do their events during those years.
How long do you reckon lockdown will go for? Do you reckon we're pretty much wrapping it up with the, I guess Premier Daniel Andrews thinking about easing things up? Do you think we'll be free before the end of the year, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, we've got to understand we've got a virus out there, and it doesn't care if we're in lockdown or not. Yeah? So we don't know enough about how it's going to behave. All we know is that the growth of it is exponential. In other words, when we get it, it's going to go like that. And no one can give an answer of how this thing behaves in the sense, is it going to mutate or anything like that. So, if we relax our regulations, and that means we are accepting the fact that as Australians, we're ready to get the virus. And then the question is, which I don't understand, but I'm sure that's why we've had this lockdown, is to get ready for the influx of patients coming in. So we don't have a thing that happened to Italy. We don't have the resources to look after people properly.
Yeah, I get that. So basically, even if we do get a relaxed lockdown laws before the end of the year, we still could have repercussions, basically. So
so how we manage that, as people are getting sick, are we looking after them? And the ones that are getting sick, is that enough not to strain our health system? Then that's where the lockdown laws will be enforced or regulated or tightened or made broader. Because let's for an assumption, if this virus, once we get it, we don't get it again, then cool. And at some point it'll drop, and that's when the laws will also open up. But we don't know how the virus is going to behave. That's just an assumption of the babe. If it then does what the Spanish flu does and come as a second turn around, that's a whole new killer fish that I haven't even thought about how that plays out.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope everything wraps up before the end of the year so you can go back out and play next year.
Look, I'm also, because I'm studying, I'm also happy just to take a year off and just study.
What is it? What is it like teaching online now?
I'm teaching online, but I'm also studying online. So it's been interesting because I was very fortunate because I already set all my courses up to be taught online. Purely because students that were away and then missed a class now had all the resources to empower themselves to catch up instead of coming to class lost. And so I really instilled that in my students. Hey, every week's up, there's all videos, everything's explained, there's examples and so forth. So if you do miss a class, cool, there's your learning. So when you come to class next week, there's no excuse for you to say, I don't know. I don't know what we did, because it's all set up for you. So that was done purely to provide a better service to my students and give them a bit of flexibility so they can take some time off in their stressful lives. But it turned out to be, when it came this, then it became, I didn't have to tweak too much to turn it online. So it's just about working from a screen now, I suppose. It's harder. I don't like it, personally, to work from a screen because I'm a people person. But I'm making the most of it.
So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, yeah?
Yeah, so it's it's been nice to learn that it can actually work online as well. So I've been training the other teachers how to use the software and the technology to be able to do it online as well. So that was another thing that came out of this whole thing. I actually ended up training the teachers instead of the students.
Oh, a man of many trades out there, Garth. Look, I'll wrap it up for now, but like I said, thank you very much for your time. To everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed watching today's episode of the Neil Coutts Show with Garth Lategan. Don't forget, if you want to show some support, you can visit my Patreon account with the link down below. But don't forget to smash like on that thumbs up button down there, and also to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notification, so every time there's a new episode there, you'll learn about it and be able to watch it. As for now, thank you very much and have a good day. See you later.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand.